Hello and good evening or good morning. Here we are watching Erin and Drew's, or you are watching Erin and Drew's movie reviews here on our channel. Erin is trying not to laugh at my terrible introduction. My name is Drew, by the way.
My name is Erin.
Yeah.
Guess we're going with that.
Right out of the gate. Can't even get that right. But that's okay because we're going to keep on rolling. It almost kind of had a French tinge to it, like, hello, welcome to it. Yeah, it was awful.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll fix it live. I don't care. Today we're not talking about anything French because that movie is terrible.
We don't talk about the sequel.
No, we're going to talk about the good one, American Werewolf in London, from 1981, which, indicated by the year, is part of my class of 1981. It turned 40 this last month, as a matter of fact. So happy 40th to American Werewolf in London. Oh, excuse me. I don't know where to start with this one. I saw this. I was too young. I was not too young to see. Well, yeah, I was too. I remember it being in the theaters, but I did not see it in a theater. This is one I didn't enjoy later on until I saw it on videotape, which nowadays is somewhat antiquated, but it is not a good way to see a movie on videotape. And I'm finding that more and more now, as I'll get into here a little bit later, that how good the home video viewing experience has become. It makes me realize how terrible VHS tapes kind of were, because they weren't widescreen and you're trying to put a widescreen image on a regular television set with 4x3 with pan and scan. It's just not the same thing. So, and that really didn't click until I started watching things in high definition as they were supposed to be seen. So, this is a great movie. I love this movie.
This is the first time I watched this movie. I know
You've never seen it before?
I know that we own the movie, and I know we owned it on VHS because I remember the box art. But my only experience with this movie was the Thriller video.
Oh, okay.
And watching the behind the scenes of that. So
yeah.
I know that it has nothing to do with each other except for that's how Michael Jackson was inspired.
Well, yeah. Well,
video,
it was because this was one of Michael Jackson's favorite films, and he hired Rick Baker, who did all the makeup for this, to do the makeup for the Thriller.
And
video.
John Landis.
John Landis to direct it. That's right. John Landis
brought along his cinematographer to do that as well.
And if you look too, it says underneath, it says The Monster Movie, which, duh, yeah, it's a werewolf. Well, looking at the top, it says from the director of Animal House. John Landis was a funny guy. He worked on Animal House. He did the Blues Brothers, of course, and he worked with the Zucker brothers from Airplane on the Kentucky Fried Movie. I'd love to do that one someday. But so he was a funny. So he really had to really put that out there that this was supposed to be kind of a scary movie, and he wrote it. I think was he a teenager? He was working, because he grew up kind of in Hollywood. He was working on this movie called Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood and Donald Sutherland, and I think Telly Savalas was in the movie too. Dennis Hopper, maybe? There's a bunch of guys in this movie. There were
a bunch of people.
Yeah, and they filmed it in Yugoslavia. And he went there as a gopher to just run stuff for people. And he witnessed a gypsy burial where they were burying him straight side up instead of flat. And I forget why, but that's kind of what.
So he wouldn't get back up.
So he wouldn't get back up.
Yeah. I read the same trivia you did.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what. So he said, I think he said the script that they filmed from the time he wrote it in 68 or 69 till they made it in 1980 or so, there was. I think he said they didn't change any of the dialogue at all, except they changed well, we'll get to this later too, but the theater that shows up in the end of the movie was not what it ended up being. It was showing cartoons. They said that was the only thing that changed in that script, which is pretty remarkable, actually. Considering some of the scenes in this movie, I try to remember, it's would they show this in 1968 when this was being written? It's weird to think about now
yeah.
because this is 40 years on, but from that time going backwards, I don't think they would have.
No, I think a lot of it would have been cut for censors.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of it probably
Then
was.
again, a lot of it was cut to get the rating that it did.
Yeah.
Just because of how much they put in and the creature makeup and the gore.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the movie is about these two boys who are traveling. I guess they're just not really part of a group. They're just kind of there.
Kind of backpacking through Europe.
Yeah, kind of.
England.
I guess in the summer. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Isn't
March,
like when
April, summer.
students have free time?
Spring break.
Spring break, who knows? But they're kind of marching along and they come to this little.
Taking a gap year.
Yeah, that's a popular thing with kids. Is take gap years. I wish I would have done that when I was younger, but I probably took a gap that was 4 years long. But yeah, they come along and they find this village in the middle of nowhere where it's like kind of like a lot of bars in Wisconsin. Or towns, there's like a bar, there's a church. I don't even know if there's a gas station at this place, but it's really small. And Derek can probably relate to this. Our director, he lives in a small town. But, and they go into this pub that's next to the church, I think, and it's called the Slaughtered Lamb, which is a great name for a pub. But I don't understand if it's a slaughtered lamb. Why is there a severed head of a wolf going through a pike on the sign? Should it be the slaughtered wolf?
What do you think got the lamb?
Yeah, but it's a dead wolf.
The wolf slaughtered the lamb. They got the wolf. So they named it after the sacrificial lamb, the slaughtered lamb, but adorned it with the wolf head as if to say, no wolves allowed.
Okay. It's just, I thought that was just an odd choice.
I honestly don't know. I'm
don't
making
know.
it up.
But that's otherwise it's a very cool name for a bar. And they walk in, of course, everybody stares at them because these pasty white American funny looking people with backpacks and like winter coats and
It's like you have a bunch of pasty white people come to England who are also pasty white. They don't really stick out that much.
Yeah.
The only difference is that they're much younger and have backpacks.
Yeah. And then they start yelling, telling jokes and yelling out American things like, remember the Alamo, and then I'll pop both the Mexicans, you know, and those things. But yeah, it's just then they all laugh and until they say, "Hey, why you got a satanic-looking thing on the wall?"
What's that star for?
And then everybody shuts up, and you don't mess with the dart player and make him miss like that, but because you made me miss. I have never missed that dartboard before. Yeah, so anyway, they don't have a place for him to stay, and then they just decide to take off in the night when there's wolves howling, and they just say stick to the roads.
Yeah.
Which for some reason they don't.
Stay out of the moors.
Stay out of the moors.
Stay out of the moors.
And of course, what happens? They get attacked by a wolf.
They go into the moors.
Yeah, they
Go out in the moors.
Yeah.
They get lost, they get turned around, they get eaten.
Yeah, so the one buddy whose name is Jack, he gets eaten pretty much alive. And then the other guy probably would have been eaten also, but he gets saved at the last second by the not parishioners, what would you call them? Customers?
Townsfolk?
Townsfolk who followed them just to make sure they were okay. And
Like,
obviously,
we should go check on them.
yeah. Why did you let them go? Yeah, that kind of thing. And so David wakes up in the hospital and is being attended by a very attractive Jenny Agutter, who plays Nurse Price. She was in the movie Logan's Run. And what else? She was in something else that was kind of big,
She's in the
too.
Avengers.
She was a member of the event, was it the SHIELD World Council?
Yeah, the Shadowy League people.
Yeah, the people who show up on huge view screens because they're important.
Yes.
Yes. I think she was in Captain America also, the Winter Soldier.
Yes. That.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think she was in that too.
When she was Black Widow. Spoilers.
I love Cherry Coke. So, yeah, and then he's trying to figure out what's going on. All of a sudden, his buddy comes back to him, and
So he was out for 3 weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He should have just stayed out. And then what would have happened on that 4th week? If he was in a coma, would he have still turned?
Oh, because of the moon?
Yeah.
I don't know. But then you'd have
Werewolf logic.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can really control how long you're in a coma, though.
True.
Well, I mean, you can't, but perhaps the doctors can, because I think they sometimes induce comas to keep you stable, because they don't want, if you wake up, they can't control certain things.
True.
But they don't know that. They just think, oh, you got attacked by a dog.
Yeah.
How silly. You'll be fine. And of course she's not. And then what may or may not be a dream, he gets visited in probably one of the best scenes ever by his dead friend, who is just been massacred and half of his face is hanging off. And the first thing he says, "Can I have a piece of toast?" And he's just like, oh, but he just can't barely talk, because he's just, get out of here, Jack. He's just totally freaked out about it. And that was supposed to be not more graphic, but he was supposed to, like, I guess this was cut from the movie, but he was supposed to eat the toast, and it was supposed to come right back out his throat and land on the table.
It would have been cool.
I think it would have been cool.
Should have kept it in.
And they didn't include the footage on the Blu-ray, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, but I would have loved to have seen it. Yeah, and so eventually he heals up and gets out, and Nurse Price says, like, ooh, do you have a place to stay?
Yeah.
And, oh, can I? And, well,
I fancy you. Let's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
live together.
yeah, just
this
come and
person I have
come and
only known as a patient.
yeah, come and stay with me, you funny American person. Yeah, so he doesn't, there's nothing, well, he doesn't, he's on vacation, so he doesn't,
Yeah.
yeah, where she goes and works, and he's kind of like checking the place out.
Spend all of his money on hospital bills.
Yeah, that
Maybe.
too.
I don't know. They don't talk about it.
But it's funny because he tries to tell the cops what happened, and they kind of think he's like, it's the drugs or what's going on. But
It's a crazy American. He should stay in the hospital.
Yeah, and then not everybody can be interrogated by Miss Piggy, so.
That is true.
Yeah. Frank Oz
I love when
shows
Frank
up
Oz
in this.
is in places. You're just like,
Yeah, John Landis likes to put him in movies for fun, and I don't remember why. He was in the Blues Brothers also, and I think Trading Places he shows up maybe. Yeah, because they booked Dan Aykroyd, and I think he's almost the exact same cop from the Blues Brothers. Like, one digital watch broken. He does the little inventory thing. I think he does that too in that movie. Yeah, because he was a member of, was it an embassy? He's one of his own countrymen. It's just like, hi, Mr. Kessler, what are you doing?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
something like that. But then the doctor, who's like looking over him, tries to put these. Man, this story doesn't make any sense. He's trying to put the puzzle pieces together, and he goes back out to that town, and he's trying to talk to the people about it. Of course, no one wants to talk about it because it's like, oh, we don't talk about that. It's just.
They went on the moors.
Yeah, they went out on the
They
moors.
weren't supposed to.
They weren't supposed to, and that's that.
Things
You told them
happen.
not to. Yep. So, yeah, and then eventually the moon does show up, and then he gets another visit from his buddy, who's like, "You're gonna change into the werewolf." Ah.
And I can't
And then
leave
that was
this plane.
and that was a great reveal too, where he's in the bathroom, and then he moves like the mirror just like this, and you just see him like there, with like this just decayed look on his face. And he's like, "I'll be a putz, David," you know.
Not only the creature makeup, but the makeup for the decaying friend.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Real good.
And if in his last form, it wasn't even him; it was a puppet.
It was like,
Just a puppet where he's like, Skull is like, "Hi, David. I want to introduce you to some friends of mine." You know, that kind of thing. I don't know if Frank Oz actually worked that puppet or not. I don't think it's said anymore, but
I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, he changes and it ends up killing some people, and then Yeah, and one of the best lines in the movie, well, other than the toast line, was like, he ends up at the zoo in the wolf cage, and he's changed back to human form, and he's not wearing any clothes, so he's trying to find stuff to cover up with, and he steals those balloons from the kid. And the mom's like, oh, what happened to you? And he's like, a naked American man stole my balloons. What? But there's some like really far out scenes in this movie too, like where he's having that dream about being home for like, I don't know, was it Yom Kippur or something, and he and his sister are watching TV. All of a sudden, those stormtroopers come in. Those they're supposed to be like, they're like werewolf Nazis because they're like wolves, but they got like the uniforms on. It was just like, holy cow, where'd that come from? It's just nuts.
Dog soldiers.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool for such a bloody scene. I thought it was great. And and then he tries to tell her that I'm a werewolf, and she doesn't believe him.
No.
I think you're crazy, and blah blah
who
blah.
would believe a person when they're like, yeah, I'm a werewolf?
Yeah. And then he's trying to figure out what's going on. He was thinking about killing himself, and he was going to, but then he kind of gets a reprieve at the last second from his buddy, who shows up again as the puppet in the. They meet in a theater, which is showing. How would you describe it?
Cartoon? No, it's not cartoons.
It's not cartoons.
It's
in
the
fact,
opposite of cartoons?
Well, I think they make cartoons of this, but let's just say they're doing adult things. We'll leave it at that. And then he gets, not only does he talk to his friend there, but he gets to meet like all the people he just killed.
And everybody is going to stay that way.
And then you have that stupid rich couple who's like, oh, there's something in the yard. and they have like all that stuff running down their face. Like, I want to introduce you to these people. And they're like, hello. And they have like all this crap coming down their face. It's just, hi, nice to meet you. And there's like, I can assure you this isn't the least bit amusing. Yeah, oh yeah, he tracks the guy down in the subway when there's like nobody there. Which is also very fun. And fun fact, if you are a Star Wars fan, that actor who got tracked down in the subway, you must die, David Kessler. He is in Return of the Jedi as the main assistant, I guess you would call, to Boba Fett, Bib Fortuna.
Okay.
The fleshy octopus head kind of looking guy with the tails kind of coming off his head. Yeah, it's the same actor. His name is Michael Carter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he looked familiar.
Yeah. You must die, David Kessler.
Okay.
But yeah, he's trying to figure out what to do with himself, and then he ends up changing again, and which is really awkward because he's making those strange changing noises in a theater, and people probably don't think is going on what is going on.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Especially in that kind of theater.
Yeah. And oh, you know what? I kind of glossed over it, but can we talk about the transformation scene?
Yes, we can.
Oh my God, that is
just wow.
It's got to be the best one. I mean,
Practical effects.
Practical, yeah. It's all practical. There's no computer and I briefly mentioned French things at the beginning of this movie, and it's because of how good this transformation scene is why I hate An American Werewolf in Paris. Because that is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Those werewolves in that movie are awful. They're terrible. And I was genuinely excited when I went into the theater. Like, ooh, wow, a sequel to American Werewolf in London. This is going to be great.
You really went into the theater thinking that?
And I came out, I was like, really? That's it, huh? I think that might have been the most disappointed I've stepped out of a movie next to The Phantom Menace. It was just...
wow.
Yeah. It was not good.
It's a pretty bad time for movies.
Yeah. It wasn't very good. No. But anyway, yeah. That transformation, amazing. I don't think it's ever been topped. I've seen a couple that have come close, but I don't think it's ever been as good as this.
No.
So yeah, he transforms in an adult theater, and he ends up causing a ruckus, and then his girlfriend Jenny Agutter figures out, oh, maybe that's him. Maybe he was right, and goes out there and finds him, and probably another clever killing is when he gets a hold of like a cop and like chews his head off, and then you don't actually see that. All you see is like the head kind of bouncing off the roof or the hood of the car like a basketball. Boink.
Boink.
Yep. Leaving a little spot on the hood. Yeah. So anyway,
That caused quite the ruckus in Piccadilly.
It did. It did indeed. So that's American Werewolf in London. Oh, did I mention that it's show and tell time here?
No, you did not
show?
mention.
Yes.
I've been sitting on the table the entire time.
Really? This is. I'm blocking some green on here so it doesn't mess the screen up. But this is an American Werewolf in London Blu-ray that I've had for a couple of years now, and it is very neat because it comes, of course, with the original cover art. And if you don't like that, I do. I actually flipped it to this, but you can actually take out this and flip it like this. If I can get it to go down here. And you have the new artwork. So you can actually flip it back and forth to whichever one you want. It's like the new artwork that's on this box here. You do that, and it also comes with a set of replicas of lobby cards.
Ooh.
But they used this isn't. It's weird because some people aren't going, what are those? I actually remember these. They used to use these in theaters all the time. This is, of course, pre-social media, when nowadays they'll put like a snapshot or a still shot on like Facebook or something to kind of generate buzz about the movie. That's kind of what these used to do. They were just so like little scenes from the movie. This is them at the bar here. That's them walking on the moors. Some more walking. They do a lot of walking in this movie. Him kind of in the transformation scene. Is his hand in there? No, not quite.
No.
They didn't want to spoil that. And this is the guy in the on the escalator at the subway station, or excuse me, the tube station. They call it the tube. And Piccadilly Circus in that shot right there. So yeah, that used to be lobby cards. They don't make lobby cards anymore for movies.
No, they don't.
I'm going to go on a little rant right now. Is it me, or does like poster art for movies kind of suck now?
Yeah.
I saw the art, like the poster for No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Mean just him?
Well, him against some like font.
Yeah.
Yeah, because James Bond movies used to have the best poster art ever. I have a book at home. It's called James Bond. It's a coffee book. 50 Years of Movie Posters. It has like 5 different versions of all the movie posters for every movie. And there's like, 20-some movies, or like one for like every country. And it's an amazing book. And there's some great artwork in there. And I see the ones now, I'm like, what's going on? But anyway, there's a couple other things here. They have a poster here of the new artwork that it comes with, or you can flip it over, and this is like the original. So, and one more thing, there's a book. It comes with American Werewolf in London book. Has all kinds of cool stuff on the inside, like words and pictures.
And all this could be yours.
Yeah.
Don't flip to that picture.
Yeah. Well, he's covered up there. But yeah, about the making of the movie, and it's just, if you are a fan, it is a must-have for this kind of thing. So, yeah, it was well worth my $30+ to buy, for sure. And there's an amazing documentary on it called Beware the Moon, which is like almost as long as the movie itself. So, yeah, I'm not being paid for this, by the way. I'm just speaking as a fan. This is a fantastic set. So, yeah, that's my little show and tell for today. So,
Lovely.
all right. So, Erin, I guess it's time to rate the movie now. What do you rate an American Werewolf in London?
Let's see. I give this movie a solid B
Solid
for
B.
Blue Moon.
That's another thing I forgot to mention. I think all the songs well, that's not instrumental, by the way. It didn't have much of an actual score. It's very minimalist, but they used a lot of pre-existing music, and I think just about all of them had some kind of reference to the moon in them. Because there's Blue Moon.
Blue Moon.
There's two different versions of that. There's like there's a Sam Cooke. No, there's three. There's the Sam Cooke version. There's the Marcel's version at the end. And there was one right at the beginning, but I forget whose version it is, though. And there's also Moondance by Van Morrison. I know I'm missing something else.
Rising.
Bad Moon Rising. That's the other one I was thinking of. Yep.
Yep.
They wanted to use one by Cat Stevens called Moon Shadow, but he actually turned them down.
Yeah.
Because that's when he was
They wanted to also use Elvis Presley's version of Blue Moon.
Yeah.
And
but that didn't fly.
That didn't fly either.
No.
Nope.
Well, you don't have to ask me, do you?
Just tell me.
Oh, it's an A+ for me.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, if this doesn't scream A+, it's like.
I know people complain about the smash cut to credits, but like it was okay.
It's appropriate though. It's not supposed to be bigger than it. He's a werewolf. He needed to die. Spoilers. End of movie. You know,
it was just kind of.
It was just
bam.
Yeah, a complete change of tone with the credits. But I'm good with it. You know, it was supposed to be kind of funny too. That's one thing that the movie kind of not struggle with, but I think it's one of its strengths is that it never loses it. The funny tone and the horror tone never seem to cancel each other out, which always seems to happen in movies that try to do that. And this, I mean, movies try to be edgier, but they're too funny and it doesn't work, or the opposite, it's too scary to be funny, whereas this, I think it just works perfectly. Yeah. Fight me on that one. I dare you. So, is that it? Did we forget anything important?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. All right. Well, that's another member of the class of 1981 American Werewolf in London. So, until next time, I am Drew.
I'm Erin.
And
Stay
stick
away
to the
from
roads.
Stay away from the moors.
Stay away from the moors. See you later.
Cable television is the swellest thing they got.